I had a truly magical driving experience maybe about an hour ago, something like that. Um, yeah. And because of the way the dude responded, I actually came home and looked up Arizona driving laws just to make sure that I'm actually not. I know I'm not mostly wrong, but I want to make sure that I'm entirely correct in my understanding of things. And after reading through these laws, I believe I was in the right 100%. I know I knew at the time I was definitely doing better than this asshole. Anyway, so, um, there is this very popular belief in Arizona among drivers that the left lane in a multi-lane road is always the passing lane. And this is actually not true. Also, it is also commonly believed that the passing lane does not have a speed limit, which is also not true. Anyway, so where we are, let's see. Where this event began, it was right around Colburn, Irvington, I think. There's a light there, and there was a big semi truck. Like, we came up on a red light. There's a big semi truck here carrying cars, and I was right behind him, and there was one car behind me, and then it was pretty much empty back behind there, and there was a couple cars over here. So like I couldn't get around because the left lane was full. Coming out of the light, it's a big ass semi truck, slow, reasonable, whatever. And as soon as we're coming up this way. As soon as all the cars in the left lane clear, I know the guy right behind me is going to pass me, but I put my signal on anyway to pass the truck in front of me. The dude behind me does not signal and just passes me. And so that I'm not pleased about, but I was more or less expecting it, so that's not a shocker. That's not what I'm annoyed about. What happens next is what I'm annoyed about. So behind me, traffic, there's nothing. There's no cars behind me. Except for, in the left lane, this dude, so speed limit here is, I'm not sure where we're at, it had dropped down to 45 yet. I know at some point it drops down to 45. That might be at Escalante. But, yeah, it goes from 50 to like 45. This is not even a big change. This dude is coming up, and so, like, we've gone a little ways. So we're probably doing around 40 anyway. We're approaching the speed limit, but the truck is heavy and slow. So I would like to pass it, and I am a safe distance back behind it. I'm not driving like a jackass. This dude in the left lane comes up on me at seriously 80, 85 miles an hour. Like ridiculously hot, right? And I have my signal on, and I can see how far back he is. And I know he sees me trying to pass this truck, right? So, as far as the passing lane of the left lane being a passing lane goes, I am actually using it correctly, because I am attempting to pass a truck that is moving slower than the speed limit. What I am doing is reasonable. This dude just fucking cuts me off, just boom, just like barrels through. So, and there's nobody else back there, right? Behind me, it's just empty for like 2 miles. I don't know how it's that empty, but seriously back from like here to like here, I can see there's nothing from, it's a long ass ways. That's actually about 2 miles. Yeah, so we're like up here, and as I come around, I indicate my displeasure with the dude, and he loses his shit. The dude that's clearly speeding, clearly violating at least one law, he starts like, he throws like both of his arms out the window while driving at like 75 because there's now traffic in front of him, so he's having to slow down a little bit. 75, 70, 60, like he's braking, but he has both of his arms out the window, flipping me off with both hands. And he's like, I can see he's shouting, and like, wow, like, okay, this dude is special. And then when he can't go any further, he gets up onto the bumper of that car that passed me without signaling. He pops over to the right lane and tries to pass it, but he can't because the other car in that lane is staggered with it, so he can't actually get it. Kind of like how these two guys are. Say like the car trying to pass me is this guy, or the guy that's flipping me off and pass me was this guy. He was right behind this dude here where it says Kolb Road, and then he like pops back here and tries to pass this guy, but he can't. And then when he realizes that he can't actually go anywhere, he slows down, gets back into the left lane, and continues slowing down. And then he pops over into the right lane again. And I know he's trying to let me catch up to him. At this point, I'm actually doing the speed limit. Maybe 1 or 2 miles over, but I'm pretty goddamn close to the speed limit. And because he is going so slow in the right lane, I am actually overtaking him anyway. So I am still in the correct lane if we're viewing the left lane as a passing lane. Okay? So, holy shit. And then we come up to the light at Escalante, at which point it becomes 3 lanes. Where is it? Come on. I know it's up here somewhere. Right here. Escalante and Kolb. This is where it becomes 3 lanes. And then it's 3 lanes from then on. Okay. So he's next to me. And he's like yelling at me and he's like, you want to get out and fight? Like shit like this. Like, and I'm just looking at him laughing like, no. Like, what are you doing? And he's shouting at me like, you're driving slow in the passing lane. I'm like, no. The entire time I was in the passing lane, I'm overtaking people. That's what it's for? Plus now, we're in a 3-lane road, and you're in the center lane, and I'm still overtaking you. Like, we're at a light, but there's a car in front of him, and there's no car in front of me. So I'm actually, like, kind of, like, hanging out, like, half a car back, like, just kind of, like, laughing at him. Like, I'm not even taunting him. I'm just, like, listening to the shit that he's spouting at me. And then, so the light goes and I end up passing him. And then we come up to the next, like, he's continuing to travel slowly in the middle lane of a 3-lane road. When it's 3 lanes, the center lane is the passing lane under Arizona law. So now he's definitely breaking this law too, right? And then eventually he gets over and pulls off. It wasn't here, but it was, something like this. It was at the next, wherever the next light is. 22nd, I think. Yeah. So like this whole situation is amazing, right? So those gestures are illegal under Arizona law. The way that he's speeding is illegal under Arizona law. The way he's treating the middle lane is illegal under Arizona law. But somehow I'm the asshole. Also, when I passed the big truck, I actually like waved politely at him, like thank you for not being an ass. Like, it's gonna indicate like I am not the problem here. And I'm sure he understood. So here, let's actually look at the laws, right? Okay, so driving on the right side of a roadway, driving on the shoulder, exceptions, education. Okay, on all roadways with sufficient width, a person shall drive a vehicle on the right half of the roadway except as follows. Okay, so this basically sets up the left lane is a passing lane, right? When overtaking or passing another vehicle proceeding in the same direction under the rules governing movement. Okay, so if you're overtaking somebody and the road is wide enough, then you can be on the left. Otherwise, you should be towards the right. Okay. When the right half of the roadway is closed, sure. Okay, yada yada. The rest of it is pretty much whatever. Overtaking. The following rules govern the overtaking and passing of vehicles proceeding in the same direction. Driver of a vehicle overtaking another vehicle proceeding in the same direction shall pass to the left of the vehicle, not the right. He was trying to... Yes, this is one he did too, right? So remember when he came up on that little car that passed me, that didn't signal, he tried to pass it on the right. And, no, can't... That's... yeah, under these situations that it was inappropriate. So here, overtaking and passing on the right is permitted when they are, let's see, the overtaking vehicles, oh yeah, except when overtaking or passing on the right is permitted, which it is not here. Okay, I misunderstood what was happening. The driver of an overtaken vehicle shall give way to the right in favor of the overtaking vehicle on audible signal or blinking of headlights at nighttime. Okay, so a lot of people like to flash their lights in the middle of the day. That's not actually what's supposed to happen, so they're doing that wrong. What they should be doing is honking their horn if they want to pass. Nobody did that. Nobody honked their horn at me. I'm not in anybody's way. Okay? And the overtaken vehicle should not increase speed, okay, until completely passed, right? I see that one happen a lot, like, try to pass somebody and they speed up, like, being dicks. Okay, so, some problems going on there. Overtaking on the right. So there are times where this is okay. Now, a driver of a vehicle may overtake and pass on the right of another vehicle only under the following conditions. Not the first one. This one kind of dominates everything. When the vehicle overtaken is making or about to make a left turn. We're on a straightaway. Like, there are no turns. So, on this road, this dude who's shouting at me that I'm using the passing lane incorrectly is trying to pass people incorrectly. Not to mention the speeding and, you know, all the other bullshit. Yeah, and the other ones, just kind of some details like make sure you do it safely and shit like that. Driving on roadways laned for traffic. This is where it gets there. You get nuance. If a roadway is divided into two or more clearly marked lanes, the following rules, in addition to all others consistent with this section, apply. Except as provided in section 28903, a person shall drive a vehicle as nearly as practicable entirely within a single lane. Okay, nobody had a problem with that. And shall not move the vehicle from that lane until the driver is first ascertained that movement can be made with safety. Actually, this is relevant because after I passed this big truck, the dude who's being an asshole was now sort of in the way. It's not safe for me to get into the right lane now because this dude is like slowing down so that I catch up with him, and he's doing this right in front of this big ass truck. I'm not about to insert myself between him and this big truck. I'm not trying to cause trouble for the truck driver. I'm actually not trying to cause trouble for anybody. Right? So, me getting back into the right lane at this point was not reasonable, because it did take me a minute to pass this big semi. My car is not super fast, but I had enough to overtake the semi. But it took a moment, right? And by the time I had actually overtaken the semi, the other asshole is like slowing down so that I can catch him. Now here, on a roadway divided into 3 lanes, a person shall not drive a vehicle in the center lane except when overtaking and passing another vehicle. The center lane of a 3-lane road is the passing lane, which makes sense because right and left are turn lanes. Alright, center lane. When overtaking and passing another vehicle where the roadway is clearly visible and the center lane is clear of traffic within a safe distance or in preparation or in preparation of a left turn, or where the center lane is at the time allocated exclusively to traffic moving in the direction the vehicle is proceeding and is signposted, blah, blah, blah. So, if you are in the right lane and you're coming up somewhere where you need to turn left, then you can get into the center lane and then over to the left lane. But note that it is the center lane, which is the passing lane. The left lane is a left turn lane. The right lane is kind of your general lane and your right turn lane. And your center lane is passing. It's passing both left and right. That's how this works. That's my interpretation of what these words mean. I think that's a reasonable interpretation. And also, god damn it. Stop coming up with signs. I want to zoom in. There we go. So at this point, we're on a 3-lane road. He's in the center, not overtaking anybody. He's specifically going slower than, like, most cars that are over here. Why? I have a left turn coming up. That's why I'm over here. He's just trying to pick a fight with me. What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, I've seen these behaviors before, but, like, this dude, like, had them all. And, like, all of the misconceptions, and he was shouting at me that I don't know how to drive. Wow. Okay. Also that, like, throwing both hands out the window with your... while driving. That was an amazing choice. Okay. Good job, dude.